Thought I'd film it this time. So these are just temporarily here to hold the gasket in place. Everything's cleaned, so you don't want to trap any bits in between. So let's just get those on there. So these are just a pair of old head gaskets that I'm using. These head gaskets are uncompressed, 80,000th of an inch when they're on and everything's torqued down to the correct torque. They compress down to about 60. Right, so gives me a rough idea, well, a very accurate idea of how it's going to be. I've ordered some Kinetic head gaskets for this engine, which is slightly more expensive, but I think it's worth it. So just locating the head with 3 of the bolts down at the bottom. There's still a lot of movement at this point. Let's get everything lined up. So the Kinetic head gaskets are supposed to be very good. They've got the they're made using the Victor Reinz gasket material, which is German gasket material. I use Victor Reinz RTV sealant, which is very good as well. So I'm hoping that, yeah, because there is a selection of head gaskets out there nowadays which I'm not entirely sure are great. The BGA ones were considered the best, was considered the go-to gasket, but they haven't been made for a while. And I think the ones that you get now are a sort of Turkish version of the same, and I'm sure they work, but I think they rely on people using Weld Seal or Hylamar to ensure that the gasket material is sealed to water, which is the main issue, because if everything's machined right and the gaskets are right, you shouldn't need sealant, but it is used quite a lot with Stags, I think, probably to offset poor quality parts like gaskets and inlet manifolds not fitting properly and that sort of thing. So I'm opting to go for a dry fit on the gasket, using the higher quality Kinetic ones. Right, so those 2 are now held in place by the 3 bolts along the bottom. So I'm going to take out these 2 studs now, because these aren't obviously meant to go there. They're just there temporarily to locate the head. And then just plonk them in there. These are all going to be hand tightened down before being bolted down with the nuts. So there's 5 of these on each side. I'm just going to spin this on over a little bit to help locate them, because at the moment the head's going to be pulling down a bit. So leave these all loose, obviously, because you need to line everything up. I'm just going to use this to speed up the process. I'm not driving them in hard, I'm just getting them down to two shorter bolts which go back into where you had temporarily had the studs to locate everything. 5 washers per side. Just about done this a few times now, so I'm starting to get quite used to doing it. So that's so we're torquing these up to 55 foot-pounds, and there's obviously a pattern to torque them up to avoid any warping, which starts with these slanted studs first, and then the bolts afterwards. I tend to follow the pattern, but then not just do these and then those. I tend to do them together. So the pattern is, you start in I'm not starting with the middle one. I am starting with the middle one, sorry. So it's middle one. Just literally nipping these up. Front, back. Again. In this case I'm not tightening them up properly yet, but just nipping them up. Right, so I'm not going all the way up to 55 straight off the bat. I'm going up to, I'm just going to do them sort of like about 1/8 of a turn each. So A, B, C, D, E, and F, G, H, I, J. Back to this one again. Getting close now. On the next pass, we'll take them all the way. Okay, that's up to 55, so that's done. Same again. Two short bolts go in. Okay, where are we? just wind these in, obviously, like I said, finger tight. So as it stands up. Right, and these 5 nuts back on. So this is about the 4th time that we've done this. Really hoping now that with the amount taken off the manifold. So first time I had them taken down 30 thou, and I'll add in a picture of the little video clip I took of them being ground down at the machine shop down at Maynard's. Those guys do a really good job. They're really good guys. So basically, they've actually left the bracket on the machine today, so that they said, go back and try them now. If they're still not enough taken off, they've left the machine set up so I can they can put it straight back on for me and take off another 10 thou. I'm really hoping that won't be necessary, but if it's necessary, it gets done. There you go. Right, they're all loosely done. Right, so it's the same order again. Start in the middle, just nip them up, front, back, go the wrong way around. I'm not actually putting any torque in these yet, so it should be that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. Right, put a bit of torque on them this time, so going about 1/8 of a turn. So, and front, back, front, back, middle, front, back, front, back, middle, front, back, front, back, okay. There you go. Right, so both heads done and torqued. Right, okay guys, so got the heads on, torqued down to, they're on slightly thicker gaskets, the pay-end gaskets or whatever they're called, PGA gaskets. I'm probably not going to use those, I'm probably going to use the what are they called? Anyway, the ones that Ingenuity sell. So, Cometic gaskets. So I've got it loosely fitted on this side with gaskets underneath. Got the gaskets on this side, or at least in there, and obviously what I'm then trying to do is just start one of the bolts. So this one here, and that is not going to go in. So I'm having a look. The norm here would be to just apply a little bit of pressure. So I've done that. Just resting your pry bar there, so you're not going to try and snap any of the casting. So it's just a gentle bit of pressure. And I also just tapped it a little bit, just because I haven't got anything on there like Palomar, to make sure it's bedded down as far as I can get it. But it's still not starting. I can also see the screw hole here, and to be honest with you, I can see that they are still below the level of the manifold. or above, sorry, the level of the manifold. So yeah, they're below the level of the manifold. So basically, I can't quite get it down far enough to get the screws in, even with a bit of pry bar. So I think I need to have another. I've taken 30 thou off the manifold. Originally, the holes were almost half covered with the gaskets on because of the fact the head's been skimmed. However, now it's probably only about an eighth, so it's just enough to make it difficult to start them. But unfortunately, they aren't going to go. So I'm going to have to take the inlet manifold off, take it back down the machine shop, and I think we'll go with another 10 thou off the manifold, and I think that should then line up better. But that was always the idea. Start sort of, you know, don't go mad to start with. Otherwise, if you go too far, you're going to have problems the other way around, where these aren't going to be drawing tightly enough to the manifold to seal properly. So I think I'm going to just go back down to the machine shop with this, and they've obviously got it all set up ready to go, so it shouldn't be too bad. Just to take another 10 thou off. So that's where we are. Not quite there is the answer. So I'll take these manifolds back off, and I might just try and start it from the other side, just out of interest. But yeah, these aren't working. This isn't working at the moment. I can't get them on. I mean, I imagine if you put a huge amount of pressure on top, almost crushing the gaskets down a bit, you might be able to get the screws in. But this is what I'm trying to avoid doing. I don't want it to be, you know, everything, you know, at breaking point to get things fitted, because that's just asking for trouble. You know, I'd rather it went on cleanly, especially since I'm probably going to fit this with the engine in the car, because it's easier to fit the engine into the car without the heads on. So that's what I'm planning to do. Okay, there you go. That's a little update. Okay guys, so third time lucky. So we started off with 30 thou on the manifolds, went back and had another 10, felt that was nearly there, so went back for a final 10. Well, I hope is a final 10. So, same process as last time. Heads are obviously already on. I didn't take them off after the last time, so. Nice flat fit against the heads there without the gasket, so you know that they're all lined. They're all nice. You can't see any gaps underneath the head, so, which is good. That's what you want. So let's get these gaskets loosely in on one side. Better bar for that job. Let's go with a 1/4 inch setup. Okay, that's good. Leave that out. So it's just literally finger tight, not even that loose, so I can still move things around. Okay, that's that one. Now, start by seeing if we think we can get something in here or not. Actually, I'm just going to get the other gasket in here. This really is. Okay, that's good. So just straightening the gaskets, getting holes lined up because they're a bit fiddly. I'm feeling confident. Certainly looks a lot better. Right, but should need a little bit of pressure. Just not. Definitely feeling we're going to get those started. That's one in. screw in. Three in. Result. So that's all snugged up. Really nice tight fit. Still needs a little bit of help with the bar to get it in. But yeah, really happy with that. Much better. None of the bolts are being forced over into the threads too tight. Very good. Let's try these three. Straight in with that one. See if this one's as good. Yep, looks like that one's going in. Now that I've brought it down with the other side. So the final one. Use the fiddly bugger. And that's starting. I actually found a crowfoot socket works really well for these ones. Right, let's tighten everything up. We'll leave that one for last, I think. Hopefully.